Yo, what's good? I know I ain't make a video in a little bit. I was a bit under the weather, but I'm feeling better. We getting right back to the consistent uploads. But real quick, yo, what's good? It's your boy Dot from Dot Me Now Coaching and Entertainment for coaching. My links are down below. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the personal spiritual journey, understanding what that is, why your spiritual journey is unique to you, and the importance of staying on your path, and the detriments that can happen with inside of your life if you stray off your path. Even if you're doing something which isn't bad, if it isn't with inside your path, it can cause certain issues. We're going to talk all about that. If that sounds good, like this video, subscribe if you're new, and if you see the option to, maybe you could hype up this video for your boy. I'd really appreciate it. Let's get into today's video. So look, I'm going to pull up this chart real quick, right? You know, I be using the chart, you know what I'm saying? Let me fix my green screen. Hold up. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to this chart, right? As you can see, at this sixth level, right? That's where you have the soul's template. Inside my video about incarnation and reincarnation, I talk all about the different forms of information which the soul template holds. One thing that it includes is the soul contracts and different timelines for the soul, right? Now, with that being said, your soul comes to earth for a certain reason, right? And inside your template, it also includes your purpose slash reason or different reasons for incarnating. Based upon that reason, you form different timelines for yourself, and you may create certain contracts with certain beings or make a contract for certain things to happen, so on and so forth, which is going to support you on your journey and your reason for incarnation. You have certain periods inside your timeline which you're going to experience. It's like you can't really avoid it. There are certain set time events that will happen. Even if they don't happen, like certain things can happen, but in different ways. Let's say that you're meant to meet somebody. You might meet them in different periods of your life. Like, and there's one timeline when you meet them at this point, another timeline when you meet them at that point, you know what I'm saying? At one point, in one timeline, you guys meet each other as children, and another timeline, you guys meet as adults. Whatever it is, you guys are still meant to meet, right? Stuff like that will happen. I'm saying this because although you can't stray off the path, there are certain things which will happen which can help you to get back on your path, but they don't always happen like that, you know? My main point is just saying that there is a certain plan that's laid out for us, and even if we kind of lose the plot, certain things can happen to get us back on the plot. But it's important that you try not to go off the plot in the first place. 'Cause if you get too far off the plot, even when certain things try to bring you back, you might still lose the plot. Now, what's the importance of even staying on the plot? You see, when you are living from your soul's purpose, and when you are doing things that you wanted to do as a soul, you naturally have a certain sense of ease when it comes to your life, right? It doesn't mean that your life will be completely easy, but it's going to be easier than somebody who's going against their path, because at that point they're going to be met with resistance. Even like, let's say that you're a person that sees other spiritual people doing certain things that you want to do, and then you start trying to do it. Although it went well for one person, it might not go well for you because it's not inside of your soul's template to even be doing these things. Let's say, I just use this example with a client that, let's say I want to be a magic guy. I want to get deep into magic. Now, I have done magic. I can do magic, but I'm not really very big on magic. You know, I like to put my energy towards certain other things. But let's say that I see some magical dude going crazy, doing the best magic, helping people with it and stuff like that. And then I try to do that. For me, that might make my life get worse because although I'm trying to do magic and help people, it's not meant for me to be doing that. And because of that, I'll be met with resistance, which is going to try to put me back to where I should be at. On top of that, when you try to follow somebody else's path and not your own path, you don't claim your inheritance. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about this in a little bit. But I do want to just say that you need to understand that although other people inside of spiritual spaces may look like they're doing amazing things and that they're so great, you have your own purpose. You have your own reason for incarnating. That doesn't mean that people can't inspire. That doesn't mean that people can't inspire you. That doesn't mean that people can't assist you and give you a sort of direction. But you should not try to make your spiritual path align with anybody else's. Right? Certain things from other people's paths may resonate with your path. And while you see this person, they may help you to connect with that part of your path. But you just need to understand that you need to always go back within, tap in with yourself, and remember what you are meant to do for yourself. That's why I made that video about the guide that never leaves. Because when it comes to that guide, which you could call the Holy Spirit, the Egyptians called it a set, right? It's pretty much your soul's wisdom coming through. When you connect with that feminine energy inside yourself, you kind of just become receptive to the wisdom of your soul, which you need to hear at any period of time. And that guidance will keep you on your path and tell you what's inside your path and what you should be doing at that current period of time. Now, when it comes to inheritance, right? I'm going to be making a whole video about this on my Patreon because this deals with some of the imperial wisdom which I have been sharing on Patreon. But to keep it simple, right? Understand that when you are in tune with your soul and spirit, you inherit different things from your soul and from your spirit, right? The more connected you are with your spirit, you gain access to the memories of all your past lives. Because at first you tap in with the soul, then you kind of inherit what you inherit what the soul comes with, the stuff inside the template, right? The template has different soul aspects, different samskaras, aka different karmas from previous lives. It has all these things. And you naturally inherit this as a character and as a vessel, right? As an avatar, essentially, right? You inherit all these things, right? But you get even deeper and you can expand beyond what's inside your soul's template. Now you inherit it purely from the spirit, and you download all the spirit's wisdom, all of its memories, all its different abilities, all the different spiritual allies which you could have made in various different kinds of lifetimes and stuff like that. You inherit all these things. But if you're not living from your soul and from your spirit, you have no inheritance, right? It's kind of like, let's say that you are the prince of a kingdom or the princess, right? Now the prince slash princess is going to inherit the throne at some point. You're going to get the whole entire kingdom. Now, if you decide to leave that kingdom and go to somebody else's kingdom, right? You lose your inheritance. You might go to somebody else's kingdom and they might give you a certain role. They might even give you a certain territory to rule over. They might give you a certain level of authority, but you're not going to inherit the whole entire kingdom like you would have if you went to, or you're not going to inherit that whole entire kingdom like you would have if you just stayed at your kingdom and inherited that kingdom. So what I'm trying to say is, right, you are connected to your eternal spirit, and your eternal spirit has its own kingdom, which you can inherit. You can inherit the different aspects, the different powers, and different abilities of that kingdom. But if you see somebody else's spiritual path and try to follow that, now you're trying to go to their kingdom and you're trying to join their kingdom and shit. While doing that, you might get certain levels of authority. You might get certain abilities and stuff like that, but you're not going to inherit everything which you would have if you just got in tune with your spirit and your soul and inherited the kingdom of your spirit and then brought that down to earth, because you could bring the whole entire kingdom of your spirit onto earth. See, I followed my spiritual path, so I'm inheriting. There's no doubt about that. If you embody your spiritual path, you're inheriting. You're getting all that shit, right? All the good karma that comes with that, all that shit. But if you forget your unique path and try to follow somebody else's, now you're trying to claim their inheritance. And best believe you're not going to get what they're inheriting. You might get a little chunk. They might throw you something real quick. You might get a little bit of chump change, but you're not going to get the full kingdom. So if you start looking at somebody else's path and you start getting upset at yourself for not being on their level or not doing what they're doing, you gotta reel that back in real quick. You could let people inspire you to a certain degree, but don't let them control what you want to do inside of your life. You feel me? You don't gotta do that at all. So, bro, I gotta do something real quick. Hold up. We back. So yeah, with that being said, right, reel it back in, right? You can let people inspire you, put certain drivers out you, but don't let them make you feel less than, right? And those moments you gotta tap in, meditate, get in a good state, and then begin receiving wisdom from that intelligence inside you, which can guide you as to what you should be doing, what you can do to further your spiritual evolution, all these different things. Because there are things you could do to further your journey and stuff like that, which you can ask about, but don't feel like you need to further yourself inside somebody else's journey. You feel me? So that's the overall gist of this video. Follow your own unique spiritual path. Life goes easier that way. You don't have as much resistance. You gain all your proper abilities, all the information you're meant to gain. You inherit everything. I love you all. Catch you in my next video. Peace. The freak out. You smell me.